everyone! Today I have 3 DIY craft projects for you that we're going to use to make Valentine's Day gifts. One involves some flowers in a mason jar, and 2 of them involve these cute little heart-shaped silicone molds that I have. You'll see as we go along. Come and join me for the day. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. For our first project, I have a mason jar, and I have some roses. Aren't they a beautiful color? And we're going to have to trim these roses. You can see they have a long stem. We're going to trim them down enough so they're just sticking out of the top of this mason jar. So we'll cut the stems. We'll probably have to remove some of the leaves as well. And then we'll tie a ribbon around the top of the mason jar, and I think it'll be a really cute arrangement. Trimmed our roses down to fit in the mason jar. I left a little bit of the greenery. I didn't leave too much because it would overpower the top of the bouquet. So I just left a few leaves on there to stick out the top. Now you can play with the arrangement of these. I think that looks actually pretty. So I did some in varying heights, as you can see. And then I have some ribbon. I have some raffia in a pink color and kind of a goldy champagne color. So I'm going to wrap this around as many times as I can and then tie it in a bow. And we'll be done. I will just add water, and you have a cute little floral arrangement in a modern way. Candle, and here I have my favorite little candle gadget. It's called Chandler and Me. I have a little bit of soy wax in this bucket with a tiny little color chip in there. That's a red chip, so it's going to make this into pink dye. As soon as I sit this down here, it's going to come on, and that will melt the wax and start to stir it. It goes through a whole process of how to make a candle, making it the appropriate temperature. When this wax is melted, it'll be a nice pink color. We're going to fill this little heart-shaped mold. This came with this little dropper, but I think if I try to put the wax in with this, it's just going to solidify right away. So I'm going to use a plastic spoon. You always want to try to use things that you can throw away so you don't have to clean up so much. You don't want to use the things that you eat on, so you don't want to use a spoon from your kitchen collection. Then we're going to make a candle in this size. It's a 6-ounce tin. I've already put my wick in here. I've already put the safety instructions on the bottom. I like these tins because they have little feet so they don't sit flat on your surface, so they don't collect heat underneath. So we'll do a whole nother round of white wax, which we're going to fill this in. Then we're going to add the little hearts. I think it's going to be really cute. I have this fragrance called Que Belladonna, which I'm going to use to scent the candle. Here we go. Itself. So I've refilled this pitcher with just white wax, no color chip. I put a lot more of it in because we're going to fill this 6-ounce candle. So as this begins its process, it'll start to melt, it'll start to spin. When it gets to the halfway point, it's going to signal me to add the fragrance. Signaling me that it's time to add the fragrance. So using a disposable dropper. And then I can tell it, okay, I did it, and then we'll keep stirring. Look how cute these little wax hearts are. So we're not going to use those yet. First thing we're going to do is take our melted wax and fill this candle container. I'm going to leave a little room at the top. And that's it. We have to wait for that to solidify, and then I'll show you what to do with the hearts. Now here we are, we're ready to add our hearts. So The candle has solidified nicely. It turns into a nice beautiful white. I've trimmed the wick. Now what you could do if you had a heat gun, you could melt a very thin layer of the top. So we're going to add our hearts in there. I figure most of you don't have a heat gun. So what I did was I just saved some of the wax. So I'm going to add a very thin layer of wax to the top of this. You won't even notice. Oops, I spilled some around the side, but that'll come right off. And then I'm going to plop these little hearts in there. And this way, when it solidifies, they're stuck in there and they're not going to move around. So you could try to play around with these, maybe try to stand some up. But I think I'm just going to put them in straight like that. And I like to do things in odd numbers. I think it looks better. So how about 3? I think that's adorable. So now that'll solidify. And you can burn your candle as you would. Now you could also put some little crystals in here. Sometimes people put dried rose petals or things like that. I don't like to put anything that can be flammable. So these are just wax and they'll just melt into the candle. And I think that just looks adorable. Earlier today I took some cherry juice and I filled the little cavities of this heart-shaped mold with the cherry juice. And then I froze it to make tiny little heart-shaped ice cubes. And now it's time to add our little cherry ice cubes into our champagne glasses. I think it made a cute little champagne cocktail. So much for joining me today. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone, and I will see you very soon. Bye.